You've been leading this ampule since it started, right?
No, some other dude was, but he quit. And he was crap anyways. We didn't become good until I whipped everyone's ass into shape.
This is Sybil. It was one of my favourite games to come out of 2015. It's a deeply personal tale from Nina Freeman about a time when she formed a relationship with a guy whilst playing an online game. They talk, trade gossip, awkwardly flirt, and you watch as their relationship changes. It's a really great game and I recommend picking it up. Though for today, I'm not so much interested in the story, but rather how the story is told through gameplay. Now, when I talk about telling story through gameplay, it may strike up images of grand, defining moments in games, where gameplay and story work hand in hand to create a memorable sequence. In fact, I have an entire series, Great Levels, which is all about such moments. Though I'll be the first one to say that not every moment in every game has to be this beautiful amalgamation of story, gameplay, themes, tone. Sometimes you just want to have a couple of characters talk to each other. Surely we don't need to reinvent the wheel just to do that, do we? Well, no. In fact, I believe that Civil shows how to perfectly exposit story to the player, using an approach that I'm going to call click and talk. And given that it's a phrase that I kinda just made up, maybe I should explain myself a bit more. I'm one of those people that enjoys booting up a game I'm familiar with or am completing the side missions of and playing it whilst listening to a podcast or watching something on Netflix. Maybe this says more about my state of mind than anything else, but it's a mentality that I think games can learn from. This is essentially how Sybil plays. You're not really doing anything major from a gameplay perspective. You're just clicking on these weird monster things till they fall over. There's no threat or tension, it's all quite mindless and routine heavy, much like the MMOs that the gameplay is based on. Though it does provide the perfect backdrop for these two characters who are just hanging out and talking. Now you may think that Sybil is merely an exception, but many other games have successfully used similar approaches, with a personal favourite being... Now, The Last of Us is fondly remembered by many for its emotional cutscenes, but that's not the only way they got story and character development across. For large chunks of the game, Joel and Ellie just walk about, trying to get from one place to another. There's no enemies to fight, no infected to hide from, it's just them. But instead of staying in absolute silence as they solve puzzles or explore, they often talk. Sometimes about important things, though sometimes...
Are you alright?
I'm trying to learn how to whistle.
You don't know how to whistle.
Does it sound like I know how to whistle?
Cutscenes are fine, but when they're used too much, they can bog down the pacing of a game. Sometimes you just want to get on with it. Having them simply talk whilst walking can help improve both the story and the gameplay, as it helps to alleviate some of the more routinely parts of the game, whilst also strengthening the bond between the characters. In fact, I'd argue that these moments are more effective at establishing the characters' relationships than the cutscenes are.
Teamwork.
Now, just to be clear, I don't hate cutscenes or conversation windows in and of themselves, but they do tend to put up a strict dividing line between story and gameplay. Sometimes this is used to good effect, but at others I feel as if I'm just wasting time. I love talking to characters in games, but there's no need to have them just standing there staring at each other, is there? We're more than capable of receiving information and moving at the same time. This mindset isn't just exclusive to conversations, by the way. There are many possibilities that open up through this style of play. Possibilities that I would love to see developers consider a bit more. I often feel as if games are designed to have you only focus on one thing at a time, which is hardly the end of the world, but it would be nice to have at least the option to do some minor multitasking. Need to walk to the opposite side of town? Sure, but let's talk along the way. Want to laugh at your boss's bad jokes?
What's it like?
Wouldn't you liken to know?
Oh my god, goodbye.
Well, okay, but I may as well make my way to the next objective as I do. Talking with some guy you met online? Cool, but the level won't end until you kill the boss, so let's click and talk.